So how far does an eDub electric conversion actually travel? This is a big question that we get because people are expecting all sorts of numbers about how far, if they take an electric conversion on their camper van, how far are you going to get on that range? So we've managed to put together 3 different sized battery packs for our VW camper conversion. So this specifically is for the VW Type 2 campers, so any split screen or bay window camper, and it's a single battery box that fits in there. And when we tell you the range, what we're doing is giving you a real world range. Now, if you were to look at a modern EV, it will give you a variety of different ranges depending on what calculation they're using to give you that number. But more often than not, it is massively over exaggerated, and that's normally because they're trying to give you a best case scenario, and the actual testing conditions are kind of in a wind tunnel on a rolling road type scenario. So you will know if you've driven an EV, if you've owned an EV, that those are not realistic numbers. Then you add on all sorts of things like whether it's cold outside, temperature, etc. So blessing and a curse, here at eDub, we don't have access to a fancy facility with a wind tunnel and a rolling road. So we can't give you fabricated numbers. Instead, me and my staff have to drive around the countryside and then tell you what number we get, which I think is a lot more accurate. So how far does a VW camper electric conversion take you? Our smallest package, which is referred to on the brochure by an E30 or an E40, will take you a real world range of 106 miles. Now remember, that's 100% down to, we actually tell the system to turn off at around 3%. If you are planning to drive 106 miles and you're aiming to roll into the charger on fumes, then that's very risky. You're very brave to want to do that. So 106 miles is the real world range. Now with any EV, you are not planning to drive the actual maximum amount of range. You're planning to drive about 20% less than that because you want to arrive with an okay amount of power. You don't want to spend the last half an hour of your journey with white knuckles hoping to get there. And also with any EV, the very bottom of the pack is the most sensitive. So if you suddenly come up to a steep hill right at the bottom of the pack, then that could be enough to tip you over the edge, even if you've got a decent amount of range left. So never plan to arrive on fumes. There's also obviously the reliability of the charging network. So don't rely on arriving at a charger when you get there that it's going to work perfectly, because sometimes they don't. And that's the nature still of the charging infrastructure, at least here in the UK. So 106 miles are the smaller packages that you can get for the camper. Then you can upgrade. It costs about £3,500 to upgrade the range to 148 miles range. So it's a bigger battery pack, 148 miles range. Again, from 100% down to about 3%, gives you more. And then you can go up to a third point, so what's called in our brochure as the E60. The E60 gives you the biggest battery pack that we have available currently in our VW campers, and that will get you 173 miles of real world range. The other thing to bear in mind is obviously whether you're choosing to have rapid charging alongside your conversion. So our conversions are available without rapid charging, but having that rapid charging means that you've got more flexibility, that if you did need to just top up and fit it around your schedule, then you can do so with that rapid charging. So arguably, you might be fine with a much cheaper range conversion, something with shorter range, as long as you've got rapid charging, rather than going for the full bells and whistles. So those are some things to bear in mind when you're looking at your range. Now, I will say that the efficiency of a VW camper is not that brilliant. So we've done real world efficiency, which works out to be about 2.6 to 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, which is okay. And by comparison, it's actually about the same as an ID Buzz. And that's because they're similar shapes and similar sizes and similar weights. No, I think the ID Buzz is heavier. But it's not aerodynamic. It's not been designed to slice through the air with zero resistance. It's still a big old vehicle. It's a brick on wheels, we say lovingly. So bearing that in mind means the actual efficiency of the raw vehicle that we can't change isn't fantastic. But what that means is that any additional power that you want to be taking from the system, so if you're wanting to run heating, if you're wanting to run air conditioning, then actually comparatively, they don't take as much out of your range as, say, a modern vehicle does, kind of percentage-wise. So what that means is that kind of almost whatever terrain you're driving, whatever time of year you're driving, you're still going to be getting 2.6 to 2.8 kilowatts per mile. And that's really reliable for one thing. So rather than having a kind of sleek modern EV that actually can achieve some of the higher ranges, but the variation in what it can achieve based on other things that you're using in the vehicle and terrain and time of year, in my opinion, it's a pro and con, isn't it, between those two things. So that gives you the range of how far an electric VW campervan can travel. So consider that when you are going through the order page to tick those boxes. And of course, any questions, then just get in touch with us and we can talk through the entire process of what exactly goes into the differences that make the range different in your VW eDub camper.